Hi there, welcome to my channel. I'm glad you're here and I hope you get a chance to check out many more of my videos. If you like what you see, please make sure to subscribe below and also give me a thumbs up. If you have questions about any of the math that's on the videos, please leave those in the comments as well and I will get back to you. Believe it or not, I will send you a note. But I really do want to help students understand the math. And this is also a great way for teachers if you need a lesson plan, especially when you are out for some reason. You can use these videos for that. So again, leave comments, subscribe, thumbs up if you like it. Please don't give me a thumbs down. But anyway, I hope I help out. Take care and go Seahawks. See you later. This is the beginning of lesson 1.2.1. And technically it is talking about 1-5.3 and 5.4, but it's also going to be answering some questions. So I would kind of summarize this whole thing as the majority of the lesson. So we'll talk about more stuff after we get going. So when you get into your class, your teacher would pretty much tell you that you're going to take one of those sets of dimensions based on the group you're in. And you're going to get a piece of graph paper, which I have right here. And sorry about that ding. And you are going to draw some boxes. You're going to cut some paper out, create the boxes, and then talk about the dimensions and everything that you have. But we're just going to choose one of the dimensions. We're going to choose 22 by 16. And you'll see I have my table set up here. Oh, and I have a typo. Okay, we'll put that H there. We have our length, we have our width, but then we have our height, which is considered our input value. And we have our volume, which is our output value. And we're going to graph all of these later, but right now we're going to figure things out just by cutting out the paper and figuring out what our measures should be. So I'm just going to go ahead and start with cutting out the corners of each of these pages one measure at a time. So we're going to choose one square. So I'm going to choose the height of 1, which means I have to cut out a square that looks like this. So it's 1 square out of each side. So that's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, and 1. So basically what's happening is it's taking away 2 units from the length and 2 units from the width. So that means I'm going to have 20 on my length and 14 on my width. Okay? So let's just get rid of, what I want to do right now is just get rid of these numbers so that I can move on to the other shapes. All right now, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to choose a different color if I can. Awesome. Let's choose, I don't know, I like all these different colors. Let's choose green. Okay. So what I'm going to do with this is instead of cutting out 1 this time, I'm going to cut out 2. So now we have 2 and 2. So we're taking 2 out of each corner. Okay. All right. And so that means I'm subtracting 4 from each length and width. So if I take 4 from the original, it's now 18. And 4 from the original width, it's now 12. Because our height is 2. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to choose a height. Let me choose a different color again. And we're going to choose a height of 3. It means I'm going to cut out a square of 3 from each side. Now, you would be doing this as a team. So this is going much faster right now than it would if you were in class. But if I'm taking away 3, so if we just say 3 on each of these, the orange, okay, that means I'm taking 6 away from the length and 6 away from the width. So that means it's now going to be 16 and it's going to be 10, okay? And we'll do one more and then we'll just continue the pattern. Okay, let's pick, I don't know, let's pick pink. Okay, so I'm going to do 4 now. Down 4 over 4. And you see this pattern that continues by cutting out corners. 4, 4. So that means we're taking away 8 from the length and 8 from the height. So we're starting with our 4, that's our height of our box. Taking away 8 from 22, that's 14. Taking away 8 from 16 is 8. All right, and we're just going to continue our pattern all the way down to the bottom and until we get something that doesn't seem reasonable. So if I have a height of 5, that means I'm taking away 10 from the length, so that's going to be 12, and then this is going to be 6. If I have a height of 6 for the box, that means I'm taking away 12 from the length, so it's going to be 10. If you notice, it's going down by 2 on each one. If I choose 7, that means I'm taking away 14, which gives me 8 on the length and 2 on the width. If I go to 8, 8 is taking away 16 from the length, which the length will survive, and it'll give us 6. But then we'll have 0. So there's no box here, because the volume would be 0. And there's no box here either, because the volume is 0. But let's fill in the rest of the volumes. So if we do, our volume formula is here. Length times width times height. And if you go through and do all of that, you're going to find this is 280. This is 432. This is 480. This is 448. Then this is 360, 240, and 112. Okay. Now, that's what all of this looks like with regard to the shape. Okay, now we're going to come down here and we're going to talk. I'm going to show you the graph and what it looks like and all these points based on this is our input. This is our output. And from here you can tell what's reasonable with our input and output. 0 height, sorry for that ding again. I don't know what's dinging. It's something on my computer. 0 on the height and then or the volume. When there's 0 on the volume, it shows that you have a 2-dimensional shape. So therefore, you don't have a possible input and output that works, okay? Can't have 0 width, okay? You can't have 0 height. All right, let's move to the table. So here you'll see I have all the points plotted that I was interested in from 1 through 8, or 0 through 8, technically. We have the volume of the box up here, and you have the height of the box in inches. Okay. Now, we're going to go through here, and these two are not reasonable. So we're also looking at some reasonable things. Are these reasonable? No, but they're the beginning and the end. Okay? Are the rest of them reasonable? Yes. And could I connect them? Yes, I could connect them continuously, because who's to say that your height is, oh gosh, that's so bad. Who's to say that the way you cut the paper is going to be right on an actual inch? It could be 1.5 inches. It could be 1.25 inches. It could be 1.33 inches. It could be 1/100 of an inch, although that would be kind of crazy. What kind of box is going to hold something that has a height of 1/100 of an inch? I don't know. So when we're setting this up, this is a realistic curve, okay? If we're setting up, we're looking at what the domain of this particular set of information is. We would have to say that x is greater than 0, not greater than or equal to 0, because the height can't be 0. And it also cannot be greater or less than or equal to 8, because at 8 there is no width, and so therefore we don't have a box either. Now range is a little different. Range still has to be greater than 0, okay, but it can be at its maximum, which is 480, so it's less than or equal to 480. Okay, this is a reasonable representation of the graph. You wouldn't have any domain values that are greater than 8, because you can't have a negative width. And then you wouldn't have any less than -0, okay? Or there's not -0, 0. So those are going to have, and it's going to be a nice smooth, curve that's continuous, but it's also not going to be infinite in both directions. The possible outcomes, or the possible outputs, are all of the volumes. The inputs are all of the heights of the box, and the range. The range of the relationship is limited based on what the maximum height could be, or not the maximum height, what the maximum volume would be. And it looks like that maximum volume happens at 3 inches height. So that pretty much answers all the questions with regard to this particular question. So hopefully this has helped. And if you have any questions, again, leave those questions in the comments of my video, and I will get back to you. Here you go, moving on.